Hello and thanks for watching. In this video I wanted to take some time and go over what all the various different metrics the backlink miner collects and analyzes, what they mean and what they're used for, and why they might be important when you're analyzing a website or a specific web page's backlink profile. Just kind of give a little more context and explanation as to what all you're getting when you use this tool. So I've already picked a domain and I've already scanned the results of that domain. And basically all I did was I took an expired domain, or actually a domain that's at auction at GoDaddy. I think today was the last day it was running, or it's a closeout or something. Anyway, I picked it because it's not going to hurt anybody's site or earnings to talk about this site since it's an expired domain. So I found this one and I went ahead and analyzed everything, and I'm just going to talk about what all the different metrics down here mean. So let's just hop into that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to click right here to minimize the summary area, and that'll just give us a little more space to see what we're talking about here. Some of the metrics, some of the things are very self-explanatory, so I'm not going to spend too much time on them. And then other ones I will spend more time on. Okay, so the page URL is basically just the page that's being linked to on the site. So when you're in domain mode, it can be any page that is linked to across the domain. So that's that. The backlink, this is where the backlink URL, this is the actual page that's linking back to the domain. The title is the title of the backlink page. And then we have title rank. And what title rank is what we do is we check the top 10 of Google to see if the title of the backlink page is ranking in Google for the title. So basically we would say, is this link right here ranking in Google's top 10 for this? Yes. Is it ranking in the top 10 for Windows 7 key? No. Now, why is this important? Why do we check for that? It's just a real simple way that you can get an idea if a page might be penalized if it's not ranking for its title tag. Now, obviously, if I create a page about web hosting on a brand new site and I name the title of the page web hosting, it's not going to rank in the top 10. It's a hugely competitive keyword. But in general, when you're getting links from interior pages on a domain, they're going to be very specific page titles. It's going to be an article title. It's going to, it's going to be long like this, very specific, very long tailish in its nature as to the keywords used. So if it's a very generic, very long, very obscure title in and of itself, and the page isn't ranking in the top 10 for its title, which is going to probably be unique, there's not going to be too many pages in Google that have this exact title because it's so long and unique. And it just gives you an idea for the interior pages that you're looking to get backlinks from, or another site's getting backlinks from. If it's not ranking for its own title, then there might be some indication that Google is discounting that page. It's not 100% foolproof. It's just a check that can give you a little bit more insight into what's going on with the backlink. So that's what the title rank is. The link type is just stuff, let me sort by that. Report stuff, let me move up here to the top. Here. It has stuff like no follow links. Just scroll like no follow. It is 301 redirects, and in this case, we see that all these links right here, no follows, but also lets you know if the backlink is hosted on the same Class C IP block as the domain we're analyzing. So what this could give us an indication of, in this case, you see a lot of these backlinks are on the same Class C block as the domain we're analyzing. And while again it's not guaranteed, this gives you an idea that maybe a bunch of these sites are owned by the same people. They have their own link network. It's just to see this many other sites linking on the same. This is the first time I've looked at this data, so I'm kind of amazed by this, seeing so many of them on the same Class C. But that just gives you an idea that there's got to be something going on between these, some sort of relationship between these links and the domain that we're analyzing. Very interesting to see all these that are hosted on the same Class C. So that's the kind of thing you can see with link type. Domain authority is just SEO Moz's own metric for the quality of a domain, and the higher the better. So same with page authority. Page authority is really kind of if you look through SEO Moz's stuff and their documentation and all their articles, that they kind of put more authority and more weight and more emphasis on their page authority metric than any other metric that they have. So the higher the page authority, the higher the quality. In theory, the higher the quality of the backlink. So that's if there's a metric I look for, I look at this one first between these two. The higher the page authority, the higher the quality of the link, or at least the more importance you should put into looking closer at that link. Now the keywords column, let me scroll back up to the top. What we do is we check to see if the backlink ranks for any keywords in Google. Okay, so why do we do this? We do it because if we see that a backlink actually ranks for keywords, then it's getting some kind of organic traffic. So if you get a link on a page that ranks for a lot of keywords, yes, you could get link juice that's going to improve your rankings, but you also have a chance, if it ranks for a lot of keywords or it ranks for a couple of keywords that get a lot of traffic, then you actually have a chance of getting some traffic from your site from the backlink. Not just improved rankings that result in more traffic, but actually getting traffic from the actual backlink page. So that's why we do that. As you can see, most of these, this is the only, out of all the backlinks, this is the only one that ranks for any keywords. And so you're not going to get a lot of traffic just from the links alone. Okay, let's go on. Okay, anchor text, just the anchor text used for the backlink. But what we do is, you can just quickly look at this and see, you can see there's a lot of keyword specific anchor text. You can also look and see quickly, if you scroll through, whether or not there's link spam. You see, maybe if you're looking for US websites and you see a lot of foreign characters in the anchor text, or a lot of gambling, if you're not, or porno or pharmacy or adult related stuff, using anchor text, this domain could probably have been used for spam and things like that. But what we also do is we have a database of commonly used spam anchor text, and we highlight those if we find them in the anchor text column. So we have, this is the Windows 7 Ultimate Product Key is actually a very frequently occurring anchor text used. You see it a lot in blog comments, and you see it a lot in forum usernames, or you see it in forum signatures, and that's where we get this data from. And so it just gives you an idea that that's a keyword that is used a lot for maybe perhaps spam related stuff, and just gives you an indication that how spammy the profile could be, the keywords could be. And then I'm not going to see, we have yellow, we highlight some words yellow, and we also, mostly they're using the domain name in their anchor text in this particular instance. Windows 7 Product Key, that's the only one. And then we see Windows 7 Ultimate Product Key is another commonly used phrase. If it's a phrase that's used a whole lot, like say they had anchor text that was Viagra, or something like that, or Cialis or something, it would be in red. So if this is a lightly used or kind of moderately used spam keyword used in a lot of blog commenting and stuff. And if it's highlighted in red like this, it means it's very common and usually associated with spamming. Okay, so anchor rank is another metric where what we do is we look to see if the site, the actual site that we're analyzing, ranks in Google top 10 for their anchor text. So as you can see, not too many. You can see they rank for their domain name, but it doesn't really look like they're going to be ranking for any keywords. But it's just a way to see, look, okay, hey, they've got all these backlinks. They're using this particular anchor text. Are they even ranking in Google for it? Has it even helped them with any kind of search rankings? And if you're not, well, then maybe the backlinks that they have aren't worth going after, or they've been penalized or something like that. But you can see, it looks like basically all they're doing here is ranking for their domain name and nothing else. So the backlinks that they have and the anchor text they're using hasn't been very effective at getting them rankings for their keywords that they're going after. Okay, so anchor global search, anchor local search, and anchor cost per click. Basically all this is the search volume, the global exact, local exact match search volume, and the exact match cost per click of the anchor text keyword according to Google's keyword tool. Now, we actually maintain our own database of about 70 million keywords that we update each month, and that's where these numbers are coming from. We pull the data from Google's keyword tool ourselves. We scrape it every month. We maintain our own database, and then we query that database when you're scanning for the anchor text search volume and cost per click. So this way you don't have to worry about scraping Google yourself. You don't have to worry about getting blocked by Google, solving CAPTCHAs and all that stuff that most other tools have to deal with. We have our own database baked into it. It's much faster, it's much more reliable, and you don't have to worry about it. It's up to us to maintain it. And with 70 million keywords, we're going to cover the vast majority of popular phrases that are out there. So that's where that comes in. Okay, link theme. Basically, this is where the text-wise API comes into use. Let's see if I can find it. And what text-wise API does is it visits the backlink URL, and it categorizes that backlink. Now, it's not 100% foolproof, but it's automated, and since looking up 1,000 backlinks by hand and trying to categorize them is going to take a lot of time. It does a pretty good job. Now I already see something we need to correct here. I'll show you what I mean. See, what it does is it looks up the theme of the domain we're analyzing, and then if the link theme matches the theme of the domain, it highlights it in green. Now this site, obviously dealing with Windows 7, isn't a design and fashion site. I saw what happened earlier, if I can find it here. Here's the theme that this site is: Internet Web Design and Development. I'm surprised it didn't classify it as software, but I think because it has the word design in it, it's also did the design and fashion here. So that might be something we need to tweak, but essentially it doesn't very commonly happen that you're going to have two themes with the same words in it. It just kind of happened to be an anomaly. But basically we get the theme of the domain we're analyzing, and any backlinks that match the same theme we highlight in green. And so this is another way that you can kind of see how on target the link profile is. Some sites you're going to come across, especially like if you take a well-known site that has a really specific set of products, almost all their backlinks are going to be within the same theme. They're going to be very tightly related themes. There's going to be a lot that match exactly because they have very context and content relevant backlinks. And so when you see a site that has almost no relevant topically related themed backlinks, that's to me, that's a flag that the site doesn't really have a very strong profile, or at least not a strong thematically related profile, which I think more and more Google's going to put importance on. Okay, so the link class is basically like we have our own footprint database that we created, and we're constantly tweaking, and it's actually a lot more complex to put together and get to work accurately than you would think. But we analyze the different kinds of sites: blog comments, forums, article directories, guest books, web directories, across about a dozen or so social network sites, Web 2.0 sites. We try to classify the links into a specific type, so you can get an idea for the kinds of links that they're going after. Link depth is really basically just how many directories deep the page is. So we look over here, we can see that this is 1, 2, 3, 4. See, it's a bunch of directories deep. Now this is a blog comment. We can tell by this is a blog post. We can tell by the date in there. But we just try to see how far from the root of the domain that the link is. Now that doesn't mean that the domain is or the backlink is 5 clicks away from the home page. It could be linked to right off the home page. This is really just taking the depth based on the number of directories deep that the page or the backlink is on. Domain page rank, pretty self-explanatory. It's just the page rank of the domain. The page rank is the page rank of the specific page. This is the page rank of the backlink domain. This is the page rank of the specific backlink itself. Outbound links, we count how many outbound links are on each page. After we get to 100, we just put 100 plus. Originally, we had we actually reported the real number, and it was amazing to see. There would be some backlinks that have 4,000 or 5,000 backlinks on them on a single page. The page was just ended up being a couple of megabytes in size almost from all the automated commenting that the page had been on. So we just say if it's more than 100, just know that there's a lot of links on that page linking out. And then the fewer the links, that's a good sign. So if all the other metrics are looking good, the backlink is looking clean, and you see a low number of outbound links, and you have a chance to get a link on that page somehow, that would be one to go after, because the juice of that backlink isn't split across a bunch of different external links. This is just the location of the website, the backlink website, the country location. Just give you an idea of where it's located. Spam on page. Okay, so what we do is
Avast virus database has been updated.
There's my Avast updating. So what we do is we look and see if there are any common spam keywords on the web page. There's about 300 keywords that we look for on the page. We've tweaked and tested this a lot. Many more than the keywords that we have now. You're going to trigger a spam on page hit on too many pages. It's just kind of ridiculous. It's kind of a balancing act. But the 300 that we're using are very spam friendly, or really overused by spammers on commenting and forum posting and things like that. And so if you see a hit, then your chances are like UGG boots, web design, electronic cigarettes, Forex. You see a lot of fashion stuff like Louis Vuitton, payday loans, weight loss. These are common, very overused spam related phrases that we look for. And so if you have a whole lot of links in the profile that have a hit for this spam on page link, then or metric, then you know that those probably aren't quality backlinks. Now, there'll be instances like if you're in the gambling market and a lot of the phrases are marked as gambling, well, then those might be things that you actually want to look for. So, it's not 100% perfect, but it does give you a quick shot at what's going on, instead of you having to sit here and click on link after link after link trying to see the content of the page. So we're just trying to do a little bit of that for you right out the gate. Okay, and the spam phrase is the keyword that triggered the spam on page. So that's the one that triggered it right there. Domain index, this just checks whether or not the domain is indexed in Google. The page index checks to see if the page is actually indexed in Google. And we'll see that a lot of these pages are not indexed in Google. So that might mean they're penalized and you might want to avoid them. Okay, the expired section is basically we have our own database of expired domains. We've been collecting them for about 2 years, and we check about the past 12 to 18 months worth of expired domains that we have. So it's about 8 million domains that expired in the past year or 18 months, and we look to see if any of the backlinks were recently expired domains. And this will give you an indication that perhaps the person who owned the site went out and got the expired domain and then started pointing backlinks back to their money site. Things like that to give indication of a link network. Just it gives you, if you see, I've analyzed some where there's tons, several dozen hits for sites that are expired domains, and so that gives you really good indication that there's a link network of some kind going on. Let's see, this particular one, there's only 2 expired domains that are linking back to this site. Same principle with Flippa. We have data from their past year of sites that have sold on Flippa, and that's not too many domains, 30 or 40,000 I think of what we have. We might not have every single one, but that again, that just gives you an idea that maybe they bought a site for a good price and they used it for backlink juice to their money site. And so we just check the past year for that. Just another way to check and see if there's any kind of backlink. With reciprocal, basically we run a couple of advanced queries on Bing search to try to determine if there's a reciprocal link between the domain we're analyzing and the backlink. And this is not, I would say it's about 75% accurate. It's kind of you get some kind of weird results from time to time with the queries we use, but it was the only thing, one of the only ways we could quickly check to see if there was any kind of reciprocal linking, and just a way to see that there might be a network of sites or some sort of backlinking deal going on. So there's a few of them, and that's just another way to check to see what's going on with someone's link profile. AdSense ID, this is pretty cool. What we do is we grab the AdSense ID, we check every page, every backlink to see if there's an AdSense ID, and then if there's a match, we will highlight that, and I'll show you what I mean when I get to Analytics ID. But basically, when we go to Analytics ID, we do the same thing. We query every page, every backlink page, and we grab the AdSense and Analytics IDs that are found on there. And if we find the same AdSense ID or the same Analytics ID pointing to different domains, that's just we highlight that in red. And we do that, and we do it for AdSense ID, but there are no matches in this one. But we do that because if you have, I've seen where there's 10 or 15 different sites that are all running the same AdSense ID, and they're all linking back to the site we're analyzing. And that's an indication that all those sites are probably owned by the same person, and they're all linking back to that page. They're in control of the network of sites. And so it's a very obvious footprint that I'm surprised people still have around like this. Here's another one. But let's see if we scroll over, and we only highlight it red. You can, if there are multiple domains involved. So you could have where it will list the same AdSense ID or Analytics ID 10 or 15 times, but when you scroll over and you look, you'll see, oh, okay, it's 15 links from the same domain. But we only highlight it in red if there's actually multiple domains involved. So if we scroll over and look at these three, you see there's dudewhere'smybash.com and selfmadefitness.com, two different domains using the same analytics ID. So this kind of puts a little red flag up there. Web hosts, we try to figure out where the backlinking page is hosted from, and just kind of, again, in this specific example, you see that these analytics IDs are multiple sites pointing to our money site or our analyze site here, and they happen to all be on the same web hosting provider. So again, this is just another way that you can see what networks of sites or backlinking is going on here. And man, when you really start getting into this and analyzing this, you'll be amazed at how much backlink shenanigans and networks are really used across a ton of sites, even sites that you wouldn't necessarily think would be using link networks. And then Facebook is Facebook likes, TW is tweets, and G+1 is Google +1 shares, and we grab that as well. And it just gives you an idea whether or not we're looking up the backlinks here, the Facebook likes of the actual backlink. Just gives you an idea if the sites that are linking back to our site that we're analyzing is involved in social media. I mean, some that you will discover have a decent number of likes and tweets, and just getting a link from that page, you could possibly just get some traffic through social networking. You'll also see instances where there will be just like a ridiculous amount of Facebook likes. It's like 500 Facebook likes, and you go over and you look at it, and it's just this really stinky, crappy, thrown together page, and you're like, oh, okay, well, chances are that there's some manipulation going on here, and these aren't legitimate shares or tweets or what have you. But anyways, it's just another way. These are the big three. I know there's other social networks out there, but these are the big three at the moment, especially Facebook and Twitter. And it's just a way to see if there's any chance that you could possibly get some traffic in addition to some link juice, get some traffic through people that are active in social media, because it is possible. I've contacted joint venture partners and potential affiliates and things like that, strictly based on the fact that when the content they write gets shared a lot in social media. And that's a way, if you could get an endorsement from somebody or a link from somebody that's highly visible in social media, that there's potential that you get some real organic traffic from that. So it's just another way to see what's going on in the link profile, to see how you could possibly not just increase rankings with better backlinks, but also increase traffic with quality backlinks, getting traffic from the actual links themselves. So that's it. I know this was a ridiculously long video, but to really do what Backlink Miner is capable of justice, I wanted to explain everything in detail as much as possible. So I hope you now understand what the different metrics do, why they're there, why you should care about them, and why they're useful in analyzing the link profile of a domain or specific URL. So thanks a lot. If you made it to the end, I appreciate it. And if you made it to the end without skipping ahead, I really, really appreciate it. But I hope everything's a little more clear and you understand and see the power that's in this tool. While the interface may be simplistic, understanding the kinds of data and insight that you can collect with Backlink Miner, I think can really blow the mind when you come to think about how normally you do backlink research with all these windows and all these other tools and all these other sources spread all over the place. It's all right here in one interface in one place, and really easy to use and access. So thanks a lot, and thanks for watching.